It's 4 p.m. We're bringing you developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Patrick Paez.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories we're watching this Friday, July 5. The Office of the Solgen will file a petition to cancel the birth certificate of suspended Bamban Mayor Alice Go. Solgen Minado Guevara says that's for Go's failure to comply with the legal requirements for late registration. The OSG is also expected to file a Call 102 case against the embattled Tarlac Mayor. Former Senator Sonny Trillanes files plunder, graft, and corruption charges against former President Rodrigo Duterte and Senator Bongo. Trillanes claims the two facilitated the awarding of 125 government contracts to Go's father and brother worth 6.6 billion pesos. Duterte and his former aide are also being accused of violating the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees.
And the Japanese embassy is hopeful that the reciprocal access agreement between Tokyo and Manila will be approved next week. The embassy said the RAA will strengthen and solidify security operations between the two countries.
And joining us today in the studio, One News Defense Editor Manny Mogato.
Good afternoon.
The Budots King. And mag-election na kasi. And on Zoom, Ami Paminduan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. And of course, our other Bagpower, resident political pundit, back from the US. Meron konting jet lags, Tito Ronald Llamas.
Ayan.
Hi, happy Friday, everyone.
Happy weekend.
Good afternoon. O, pwede ko na kayo batiin ng good afternoon. Yan, dito na ako. Back in the salt mines.
Bago tayo umandar, para medyo makompleto yung mga itsura natin. Joby, sumaglit ka na konti. Pakita mo yung mukha mo, Joby.
Yeah. Wag ko.
Joby, pakita mo yung mukha mo.
Then, Joby, halika, papasok ka lang ng konti. Yan.
Para screen grab natin. Screen grab natin.
Yan. Joby is one of our story editors. So, dahil walang nandito si Manny, siya magtatambay sa ating story conference with the producers for the programs. Right. At saka pansinin mo, Bok,
Si Lord na lang ako lang.
minsan lang si Manny dito, kaya may pagkain.
Yan.
May carbonara. Tira ng afternoon delight nila Lourdes de Vera.
Kung kami lang wala yan.
Pauline,
Ayan na.
Salamat kay
Simula na.
kay Jan.
Bawal yata sa yan, Mogs eh.
Ha? Konti
Bawal sa
lang.
yan.
Konti lang, oh.
Tinira na.
Pag yan bumara dito sa mo, meron ba kayong yung
Stretcher.
Well, the reason we have Manny Mogato here today is because we want to find out, we want to ask about may ikot kasi mga text messages, Manny, no? But of course, alam niyo naman, Ami, no? 5-5 ang mga disinformation through text messages na pinapadala sa mga journalists. But it seems like there's some...
pa rin namin eh.
Yes, but it seems there's some there's some backstory to this, and Manny is here to tell us about this. How would you call it, Manny? Parang text messages that seem to indicate a divergence of policy or a rift within the security and defense establishment on how to approach this problem in the West Philippine Sea.
Yes.
Manny, yes. So what do we know?
Manny, baka pwede mo rin i-edit yung grammar. Tulungan ka ni Ami. Medyo maraming grammatical errors.
Sundalo sa bulat eh.
Manny, pangalan mo Manny ha, hindi Marites ha.
Hindi kasi
ako.
marami ako nakausap na na retired generals.
Okay.
And they're confirming that there seems to be a problem between the National Security Advisor and the Defense Secretary. They do not see eye to eye and they do not agree on how to approach the West Philippine Sea. And some retired generals are unhappy because of what happened to Admiral Carlos. They said that it was unfair for Admiral Carlos to be removed from his position, and that the Department of National Defense needs somebody who is a retired general to take the helm because he understands military operation, tactical and operational.
Okay, a little back background story here. Admiral Carlos used to be the Western Pacific Western
Western.
Command.
Oh. And he was taken out of his position because of this alleged agreement. Where
No agreement.
where magpapaalam mo na o magsasabi ang AFP bago magpadala ng RORE o resupply mission, resupply boat doon sa BRP Sierra Madre.
Na nirecommend naman later on ng Maritime Council.
Yes. Parang ganun din. So umiikot lang din, ano? At saka tinanggal siya. Tinanggal siya ng DND, I think,
Yes.
ng DND secretary, who eventually, we saw naman, based on the June 17 incident, nagpadala siya ng Navy SEALs, Filipino
Yes.
Navy SEALs. And that also caused some problems sa money.
Yes, and
That incident in June 17.
the military is not happy with that incident because they think that the operation was authorized by the Defense Secretary without informing other agencies, DOTR,
Specifically the
Coast
National
Guard, National Security, DFA. So, nagkaroon ng problema. So, they're blaming Teodoro for that incident. But Teodoro...
Manny,
Yeah.
ang tanong ko na, verify mo na yan. You're saying you have your own sources. So, totoo pala yung kumakalat na yan.
Well, totoo na may hindi magandang relation, no? Pero yung letter, because it was unsigned, no? It was unverified.
Yun yung ina-authenticate namin eh.
Oh.
Are you saying na authentic yung letter na yun? Kasi alam mo naman ngayon, ang dami-daming kumakalat, pati si President Marcos na AI yung kanyang boses eh. So,
I
yung
think,
letter na yan.
it would be hard to authenticate a text message that's been blasted to journalists.
Yan na nga eh.
Random
But I think
number eh.
what Manny is trying to do here is to put into context all these things that are happening, starting with the removal of Admiral Carlos, the June 17 incident where the DND Secretary authorized the use of Navy SEALs to resupply BRP Sierra
Yes.
Madre. And then yung press conference ni E.S. Bersamin, and then 2 days
Yes.
later, yung press conference naman ni DND Secretary.
Yes, si Teodoro.
So parang in this context, there seems to be some, what's the right word, Manny?
Dissonance.
Dissonance. Yan,
Yan.
ganda.
Oh.
Nasa pulmo, Bok. Dissonance within the defense and security establishment.
Pero meron nga nagsasalita ng ganon, Manny. Meron nga nagsalita sa'yo.
Yes,
To confirm.
there were many
Dagdag sa
retired
tanong ni
generals.
Manny.
Yeah.
So hindi nanggaling yan sa Chinese embassy ha. Hindi, yun lang naman ang gusto namin siguraduhin na yung text, it's a text blast na hindi siya galing talaga siya sa mga military. Yun lang naman ang gusto namin ma-verify.
Hindi natin alam kung galing sa
Manny,
military.
dagdag lang sa tanong ni Ami. Manny, dagdag lang sa tanong ni Ami. Di ba yung tensions na yan between the DND Secretary and NSC Secretary Anyo ay medyo matagal na. Nag-scale up lang siya dahil dito sa nangyari kay Westcom Carlos at saka dito sa Ayungin incident.
Correct.
Ibig sabihin, matagal na yung tension na yan, no? Matagal lang dynamics yan. No? Pero ngayon lang nag-scale up at ngayon ay ginagamit ng iba't ibang forces.
Yes.
Halimbawa, kung titignan mo yung text blast, ay mukhang galing sa mga kaibigan ni Westcom Carlos. No? Yung
Sa
text
Navy.
blast.
But again, Ronald, we have to clarify here
Hindi
that
natin
we are
sigurado
not
kung
here
saan
to
galing nga, yun ang problema.
confirm the
Yung
text
ganyan din
messages.
lumabas after matanggal si Westcom Carlos.
Pero
May
Ronald,
similar na text blast na lumabas.
Ronald, nilawin lang natin, we're not here, man. It's not here to confirm yung text messages na yun.
Kasi
tinatanong ko kung meron siyang ganong
We're just
nakukuha
putting
nga
it in context of
on
this
the ground.
context, which is the dissonance, as Ed would put it,
Yeah.
within the defense establishment on the West Philippine Sea issue. And there are previous incidents that would tell us na parang would tend to confirm
na may
gano'n. May
Na may
dissonance.
ganon nga, oo.
Pero
Na may basis yung text.
somebody close to Defense Secretary said that maybe he knows kayo nung galing tong mga letter.
Galing umiwas.
Yung masabi mo sa amin kanina, Manny eh.
Somebody
Yung
close.
statement na yun is pregnant with meaning.
Yun. Oo, yun. Yun na lang. Hanggang doon na lang.
Ganda na lang.
But I remember kasi, no, Ami, Ronald, that even before, weeks before, no, Manny has been saying that there is such dissonance. Even before Carlos was removed, even before this June 17 incident in Ayungin. So sinasabi ni Manny na based on his sources nga na may ganong dissonance. Nasa pool talaga nito.
Sabi nga ni Ronald, matagal na eh.
Yun.
Now, whether yung dissonance na yun resulted in this text
tinatanong ko din kasi yan. Kasi panahon pa ni Digong, Chinese embassy had also been trying to remove. Hindi nila nakakasundo lagi yung defense secretary natin eh. Alam ko, matagal na matagal sila, naglalabi sila heavily para tanggalin si Delphine Lorenzana noon. Hindi sila pinagbigyan doon ni Digong. Kaya ngayon, yun naman, ang inahakoy naman nila ngayon, si Gibo Teodoro, kaya medyo of course you cannot confirm nga yung mga text blast. Pero, yun na nga, gusto ko lang malaman kung meron ka nga nakakausap directly na mga military officers na ganyan nga ang sentimiento, which is not far-fetched dahil nga marami din namang mga kaibigan niyang si Westcom Commander eh.
Actually, si Westcom Commander is well-respected, no? In the armed forces, no? Kasi US
Annapolis ba?
Annapolis, US Navy Academy. Tsaka very professional. Although he went on schooling in China, that does not mean that he is pro-China.
US trained, Annapolis, at saka China trained.
Yes.
May schooling.
So well-rounded siya.
And he understood the Chinese doctrines because of he went to the schooling, no?
Actually, meron talagang program ang China sa mga natin. Nung hindi pa tayo nag-aaway, may mga program sila to teach their language actually para nga mag-improve yung communication. Mga ganong klaseng training. Saka yun na nga, to good people to people, yun ang gusto nilang term, people to people exchanges. Nung hindi pa tayo nag-intensify ang tension dyan, we were actually working on those types of relations with China. Meron tayong military, defense, and law enforcement cooperation. Malapit yung law enforcement cooperation natin noon eh. Kaya lang ngayon nga, nagkakagulo. Siguro, medyo naipit si Westcom Commander doon. At hindi niya alam, although dapat he should have been aware na pwede ngang itap yung conversation nila with the Chinese embassy.
Ami, ang significant dun sa incident na yon ay parang merong bendisyon si Westcom Carlos mula sa kanyang higher up. Parang siya yung naging fall guy. Yun yung isang significant doon, di ba? Na dun sa conversation, alleged conversation, ay pinayagan siya ng kanyang mga superiors.
Dininay nga eh.
Oo. No? Parang ganun yung tape eh. Ganun yung
Dininay niya. Dininay nung dalawang official na binabanggit niya, di ba? They denied it.
Yes.
Bok, at any rate, let's bring in our guest for this afternoon. Joining us is former Defense Secretary and former Senator Orly Mercado na kapatid din natin, di ba? Sa Channel 5. Well, dati. Sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon sa inyong lahat.
Hi, sir.
Good afternoon, Sir Orly. Long time no see.
Hi.
Sir, I'm sure you've heard about this itong kumakalat na supposedly again we have to qualify kasi wala pang verification. Supposedly from a group of active duty officers daw calling for the replacement of Gibo Teodoro because daw of fouling up the Ayungin Rore mission. So may ganun na naman. Parang akala ko after a while we were past that point where
Hindi, pero on a policy level, meron bang authority ang DND to authorize an
mission.
operation? A military operation?
Actually, ang number one dyan, dalawang bagay na napaka-importante. Unang-una, pag meron tayong kaharap na threat, problema, katulad ng problema natin with China, hindi naman kinetic war yan kung hindi yan, nakikita naman natin, this is a gray zone hybrid problem. Wala naman kalutas sa bigla yan eh. Ang importante dyan, management, na hindi tayo nauutakan, hindi tayo naisahan. And this conflict is going to be a question of how to manage it. Now, part of the conflict against us is being done through divide et impera, divide and rule. Madali naman yung gano'n. Alam naman natin yung ginagawa nila. Meron din silang mga nag-iintriga, meron ganito, etc. Tayo naman, dapat natin maintindihan na ang lipunan natin at saka yung gobyerno natin, hindi pareho ng China yan. Sarado yan eh. Hindi natin mabasa yung kanilang mga ano. Tayo, very open. At yung mga disagreements natin, we talk, etc. In the military tradition, you do not disagree. You do not openly talk about operational matters. Largely because of the fact that you may be given a mission and you may be compromising the integrity of that particular mission.
Okay, Senator Orly, itong nangyaring June 17 operation by the Navy NAVSOCOM to resupply BRP Sierra Madre, does something like this does it need, the decision need to go all the way up to the President or call na ito ng DND Secretary?
The Secretary is the alter ego of the President. And he's in the matter of implementing projects or whatever, or missions for the armed forces, nasa chain of command siya. Ang importante lang, yung alam naman natin na talagang merong instances na iintrigahin yan eh. I doubt very much kung meron talagang mga calls dyan labang kay Gibo, because from my end, as ako naman nanonood lang, ayoko mag-comment sa operational matters dahil sila nakakaintindi ng problema yan at they have the information, and I have no right to do that. But I think it is important for us to reassure the people and tell the people and those who are don't comment, kung hindi kayo makatulong, huwag na kayong makaabala. Kasi in the end, kung pumalpak ang ginagawa ng Secretary, yes, answerable to the President. And the President will not flinch if, for example, there is such a failure in a very critical department like the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Department of National Defense.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mercado, uulitin ko lang yung tanong ni Manny Mogato. Is the Defense Secretary authorized to send that mission to Ayungin, yun nga yung Navy SEAL, na hindi kiniklear sa mga superiors nila?
Ewan ko, I cannot comment on the operation matter. Ayaw kong magsalita dyan, mag-comment dyan. Tingin ko niya, let's not be armchair generals watching the military tapos criticizing dapat ito, dapat ganon. Actually, tulungan na lang natin sila na ma-manage nila yung But tayo, ang importante dyan, ang discussion dyan is policy. We should be consistent in what we're doing. Number one, yan ang problema natin, consistency. We are managing the issue, but we have to be consistent. Ikalawa, napaka-importante that our disagreements are kept to ourselves. Why should the weakness of I don't think in a time of crisis, hindi pa kinetic warfare, pero it's just as good as kinetic warfare. This is information battle. So the important thing to do is when you cannot help, keep quiet.
Secretary Orly, tama naman po yung sinabi nyo na magkaiba talaga yung ating estado sa estado ng China. China is a authoritarian ideological state. Tayo is a flawed democratic state. No? Kaya minamaximize ng China yung ating mga flaws, no, ng ating democracy, no? Pero Secretary, tama naman yung sabi nyo, ay wag na nating dagdagan ng gasolina yung apoy. Pero dahil lumabas na yung issue, dalawa yung mahalaga na tanong nila, Secretary. Una, may karapatan ba yung DND na gawin yung ganyang mga operations? From my vantage point, meron. From my vantage point, meron. Baka kailangan lang niya itimbre sa presidente dahil may epekto sa foreign policy. Pero tingin ko, trabaho yun ng DND. Mas ang problema ay coordination with other elements of our security and defense. Mukhang nandun yung problema. Coordination with NSC, coordination with Coast Guard, baka dun kinapos. Kaya nagkaroon ng ganyang kasing problema. At ikalawang tanong, Secretary, ay yes, ginagamit ng China yung ating mga weaknesses at saka vulnerabilities. Pero ang tanong, Secretary, ay yung mga vulnerabilities ba yan na lumalabas na ngayon ay real. Yung mga factional fights, yung mga dynamics between different parts of our security agency. Para alam din natin na dapat ayusin.
Yeah, actually, dapat natin intindihin na napaka-importante na maiisip natin para sa we are concerned. Merong laging tension at saka minsan a clash of interest between the Department of Defense and the Department of Foreign Affairs. Dalawang napaka-importanting departamento yan. Pero given dyan yung creative friction yan dahil sa ang focus ng military is to secure the state. But you cannot use only military power. You need soft power, and diplomacy is critical. But it doesn't mean that you're always in agreement. And I have experienced during my time. Talagang mga debate namin sa cluster E, yung security cluster, na umukol sa pananaw namin. It's easy for us to blame or to label people ito, mabagal o kaya dapat ganito. That's the other thing is that you are only going to be an effective Secretary of Defense if the President has complete trust in what you're doing as regards the defense of the country's security concerns.
Secretary Orly, nung panahon nyo, di ba, hindi kayo nagkasundo ng DFA sa pagsadsad ng barko dyan sa may West Philippines. Paano po na-resolve yun?
Na-resolve?
Paano po na-resolve yung hindi nyo pakakaunawaan ng DFA?
Well, nangyari kasi ang EDSA dos, nawala na yung...
Naging mood ng academic na.
Kaya nagka-loko-loko ay nako.
Pero di ba, Secretary, nagkaroon kayo ng problema with the Foreign Affairs Secretary Siason dun sa paglagay ng isang boat, isang ship na dapat i-beach din natin sa
Scarborough.
Benguet.
Sa Scarborough.
Benguet. Pero yan ang mga bagay. Sa history na lang ang magdagdag kung sino ang tama at kung tama. When we talk about being right, we're talking about who or what department was more problematic in defending the national interest. Kasi in the end, it's not about personality. It's about the national interest.
Okay, but Secretary, this dissonance,
Patrick, yan yung maganda kay Secretary Orly Mercado. Very statesman-like.
But Secretary Orly, this dissonance that we're seeing, allegedly, supposedly, is within the defense establishment. It wasn't like during your time na ang hindi pagkakasunduan ay between the DFA, the diplomats, the diplomatic community, and the security community. So what can you say about this? There's not one mind within the defense establishment.
Pero pag inutos naman ng presidente, inutos sa secretariat, pababa, sunod yan. Pag hindi sumunod yan, ano yan? napakalaking kasalanan niya sa militar. Insubordination.
Secretary, ang National Security Council ba under ng DND?
Ay, hindi. Under the OP.
Hindi.
No.
Under OP.
Separate.
Pwede silang hindi sumunod.
Body.
Under OP,
Separate yan.
Ronald.
Which means pwede silang hindi sumunod.
Oh, it's a coordinating body.
Kaya, hindi naman implementing arm yun eh.
Pag tinignan mo yung mandato niyan, yung mandato niyan is to coordinate information, intelligence, actually. So, by and large, it advises the president also because of the National Security Advisor. Pero, walang line function sa military. Hindi sila makakakontra dun sa mga proyekto at saka sa operations.
Yung DND, a line agency.
Okay. Former Secretary, Secretary Orly,
Okay lang, wala na matagal ako dito.
Is it right to assume na pag defense establishment, pag AFP, pag mga general, mas hawkish sila when it comes to approaching geopolitical issues like this in the West Philippine Sea? That they have to take the hawkish position?
It's an oversimplification to put labels on people. Sa akin naman, alam na ng militar, matatalino naman yan at train yan, ina-educate. I have been privileged to head an organization that is a multi-sectoral advisory board on matters of intelligence and training and doctrine development. Alam mo, alam naman nila yung yung ang labanan dyan, hindi puro, ang gera ngayon, nag-iba na eh. In fact, minapansyagan natin itong problema natin with China. Nag-meeting ngayon, nahihirapan sila. But kasama yan sa buhay eh. There are problems that cannot be solved with military solutions. But we have to manage it. But the military still plays a very important role. And that is whether or not you have enough capability and resolve to fight it out also. Hindi pwedeng nagkikit-kitan kayo tapos atrasabante ka, bara-bara. Yun ang problem. Tapos walang consistency. Tapos yung iba sinasabi, hindi, confuse the enemy. Sabi ko, mamaya mangyari, you get more confused than the enemy. Nothing happens.
Correct.
Sir, balikan ko lang yung open letter. If we were to assume, but it's an assumption, if you were to assume that it was written and passed around by active duty officers, isn't that a major cause for concern? We appear to be backsliding to a time when the military officers would be dabbling in policy affairs and trying to intervene?
When we are under attack.
Kasi pwede rin isipin na instrumento ng kalaban yan.
Yan ang
Instrumento ng kabilang power, like in this case, China. And you cannot put it below the Chinese to be able to use intrigue. Kaya sa atin, take it with a grain of salt. Tapos kung merong active duty, you have no business. Kaya tinuturo namin sa kanila yung social contract theories. Social contract theories where people give up some of their freedoms and arm a force to defend themselves, defend the people. But the decision to go to war is not put to the armed forces alone. Why? Because you have to. War is too important to be left to generals alone. Neither is it also to be left to the politicians alone. This requires discussion and a position that has to be respected. Now, in times of war, pag ito marami ng ginagawa subverting the interest of the national security, you can be charged with treason if you are revealing or or acting without being a registered foreign agent.
Secretary Orly, mukhang ang isang weakness natin, wala tayong maayos na treason laws during time of peace. Mukhang yung ating treason laws na several decades old ay during time of war lang. Kaya siguro malalakas yung loob ng mga iba dyan na gamitin yung issue na yan. No? Dahil nga hindi sila natatakot na makakasuhan sila ng treason.
Treason na pinag-usapan natin. Treason na pinag-usapan natin.
Pero, Secretary Orly,
the understanding of the definition of war has already changed.
well,
Kaya dinidiscuss yan lagi na pag pinag-uusapan ng kinetic warfare, yung nagbabarilan. Pero naman na the Chinese are doing to us. May dalang
Hybrid warfare.
may dalang bladed weapon, etc. Pero hindi baril. Obviously, kasi ginigera tayo. We're at war with them, but it's not kinetic war. Because they know if they use weapons, the provision of the Media Defense Treaty will be invoked. And this can start a shooting war. They know, ano yan, brinkmanship ang labanan din eh. And then the warfare comes in various forms. So you have to fight smart and don't be outflanked and outsmarted. That's the advice.
Okay, maraming salamat, former Defense
Thank you.
Secretary and former Senator and former Radyo Patrol.
Thank you.
Pre-martial
Orly
law.
Maricado.
Pre-martial law.
Maraming salamat, Sec.
Salamat,
Thank you, sir.
Idol Secretary
Thanks, sir.
Orly.
Thank you.
Nabutan mo yan, pre-martial law.
Hindi naman. Ganito talaga.
Amani mo ka to, pwede bang isang last na tanong? Theoretical lang naman eh. Kung sakaling mapalitan si SND Gibo, kung sakali, for whatever reason, sino ba ang namumuro? Sino ba ang pwedeng pumalit?
the General.
Hindi si Sara Duterte.
Hindi ba si Secretary Anyo?
Siya talaga.
Hindi ba si Secretary Anyo ang posibleng pumalit? Kung sakali.
Pwede.
Sakali lang naman.
General
Sakali
eh.
lang naman.
Kasi gusto nila, General.
Hindi naman tayo nag-iintriga.
Parang may
Pwede.
Hindi daw siya nangiintriga.
Pinagtabi pa yung dalawa.
Hindi daw siya nangiintriga.
Kailan to kinunan?
Yung presko niyan.
Ah.
Presko, no.
At dito sa presko nito, magkasama sila against kay Bersamin.
Kay Bersamin.
Kinokorek nila yung presko ni Bersamin. Yan.
Pero wala si Manalo dahil nagpunta ng Europe.
Pero if babasahin mo, Jovi, yung body language nilang dalawa. Tingin mo. Jovi.
Yan ang intriga.
Parang hindi naman sila
Yan ang
uncomfortable.
intriga.
Okay. Bok, I think politika tayo, Cambio, because there's this
sige.
curious post that came out that's going
Yes.
around social media about the possible...
Pero paano, Patrick, hindi pa sinasagot ni Mogs yung tanong ko eh.
Pwede.
Sinagot na niya.
Pwede nga, sabi ko.
Anyway, there's this post going around on social
Okay
media about the possible senatorial ticket of the administration
Bagong
party.
Pilipinas.
But just to qualify, we don't know who made this this meme that came out on social media. So we don't know if this is really from Bagong Pilipinas or if somebody just made it up. Kasi sa ilalim, #usapang Kongreso yung nakalagay.
But at the same time, Bok, it's good enough to discuss because this seems to be a credible list. Because all of these senators, if you look at them, they're identified with the administration.
Oh, yeah.
So, ang usapan na lang dito sino pa ba yung kulang? We're counting 11. So, there's one more that should be
Aba si
there.
Ronald Llamas.
Ayun, Ronald.
Ayun, Ronald. Ikaw na yung pang-12.
And if you look at this,
Pero
Ronald,
sa slate ni Duterte.
Ronald, if you look at this slate, the Bagong Pilipinas slate, medyo malakas. You would say it's malakas. I'm saying na medyo malakas because isang slate pa lang to. Hindi pa natin nakikita yung slate ng mga Duterte at saka yung mga iba pang posibleng tumakbo. My point being, it seems like it's going to be a very crowded senatorial elections this 2025. I mean, outside of this list, we can still imagine na tatakbo, let's say, si Ben Tulfo. I think is placing high in the surveys.
Si Bato.
Si Bato,
oo.
re-electionist.
Si Bongo.
So si Bongo nandyan din. So, Ronald, comment.
Malakas talaga yung slate ng administration during the midterms. Malinaw yan. Alam din natin, napag-usapan na natin dati, na lilipat si Francis Tolentino sa admin. No? At mukhang tinatanggap naman siya. At talagang medyo hihina yung slate ng opposition. Lalo na yung bagong opposition, yung Duterte opposition. Pero ang layunin naman nila ay may mag-survive na ilan. Yun lang naman ang layunin nila. Huwag sila totally ma-zero. Kaya itong balance of forces na nakikita natin ay hindi naman surprising. No? Doon sa last position sa administrasyon, pwedeng pumasok dyan si Isko Moreno. No? Pwedeng pumasok dyan si Gringo Honasan. No? Ang mas issue, Patrick,
Nancy,
yung bang mga kasama,
Ronald,
yung mga
let's not
kasama
forget
sa
Abi
slate
Binay.
Administration will be loyal to the president after the election. Mas yun yung aking issue.
Okay, pero Ronald, given how crowded this senatorial elections will be, no? Okay, you have the Bagong Pilipinas possible slate, okay, the possible slate, and then we're imagining the Duterte slate. Sabi nila, 3 Duterte ro tatakbo. Kahit na hindi 3 yan. Pero you can imagine Bongo will be running for re-election, Bato de la Rosa will be running for re-election. There's one, maybe sabihin natin, isang Duterte makalusot dyan. I'm wondering whether between these two parties, these two tickets, the DDS ticket and the administration ticket, parang ang mangyayari, lalong mababox out yung classic opposition na
yan ang tatanong ko rin, yung Liberal Party.
Oo, na binabanggit
yan ang tatanong ko din kasi nag-announce na yung Liberal Party, di ba? Na sana nga daw they will perform better in 2025.
Mahihirapan ata.
Pero hindi daw nila makukompleta yung 12. Pero may mga names na nagfo-float, di ba? Sila Bam, I'm not sure kung kasama pa sila sa Liberal eh.
Oo, pero
sila Shell Jokno.
Pero Ronald,
may mga lumalabas ng pangalan. What do you think? Anong prospect nun?
Ronald, tingnan mo lang itong admin slate na to, tapos tingnan mo yung possible DDS slate. Medyo masikip.
Oo nga.
Masikip for the classic opposition.
Tama yun, Patrick, no? Pero merong 2 o 3 diyan sa admin slate na vulnerable. May 2 o 3 na hindi sigurado, no?
Si Benhar.
Pero uphill talaga yung, anong tawag natin doon? Tawag ni Ed Lingaw doon, independent opposition.
Ba't ako?
Yung tawag ay
ayaw gamitin yung classic.
Yung iba ay tawag traditional opposition. Maraming tawag eh, no? Pero tama yung sabi nyo na medyo uphill yung kanilang battle. Pero kung mako-consolidate nila yung pink wave, no? Kung mako-consolidate nila, malaki yun. No? Kung mako-consolidate nila, no? Dahil mobilizable yun eh. Very voluntarist yung grupong yon. Yun yung una. Ikalawa ay kung makakagawa sila ng magandang peg. Sabi ko nga dati, mismo si Pinoy ay malayo nung tumakbo siya for the Senate. Ang nagpasok sa kanya sa top 5 ay yung kanyang ad, lagot ako sa nanay ko. So kung makakagawa yung independent opposition ng magandang narrative at magandang campaign peg, may possibility. Lalo na kung mako-consolidate nila yung pink wave na nakakuha ng 15 to 16 million votes. Enough for a senator to win. No?
Okay.
Kaya, tapos syempre, meron mga disenchanted doon sa unit team dahil nahati. Kung makukuha nila yung mga disenchanted na yon, then meron silang winning combination.
Okay, Ronald.
Yan ay tatlong kung. Tatlong if.
I know, Ronald, but we had Malu Tikia here a few days ago, and she was explaining the results of her Pahayag survey, Publicus Asia survey na Pahayag, okay? The insight from that survey that she did was that, nalalagasan yung admin ng support, nalalagasan din yung DDS, may dalawa siyang observation, but it's not going to what you would call a classic, independent, or traditional opposition. People are actually going to anong word ni Malunon? To undecided. That's the word. They're not identifying with the old opposition.
Patrick,
they're going to the undecided.
Yeah. Yeah, pero Patrick, yun nga yung mahalaga sa undecided. They will eventually decide. At 11 months pa for them to decide. No? Hindi pa next month yung election. So yung undecided ay magde-decide later. No? At,
But what are the chances, Ronald? Ronald?
Ako, Patrick, mas magre-rely ako dun sa survey ng Pulse Asia at SWS na lalabas later this month.
Okay.
Dahil yun, face-to-face talaga.
Okay.
Yung, yung sa kila Malutikila kasi, mas online yan eh.
Okay.
Mas online.
Okay.
Tingin ko mas accurate yung face-to-face ng Pulse at saka ng SWS at hindi ko sigurado kung gagawa yung Lilo Group ng kanilang survey.
Okay.
Dahil si Juni Lilo, ambassador na eh.
Okay. Ronald, but what are the chances of those undecideds who were formerly identified with the BBM group and the DDS group? What are the chances of these undecideds na dating BBM o Uniteam, sabihin na natin Uniteam, what are the chances of them going to the Pinks or the Dilaws or whatever you want to call that group?
Sabi ko nga Patrick, depende sa kanilang strategy, depende sa kanilang narrative, depende sa kanilang peg. Ang lamang kasi nila, dahil yan ay disenchanted na sa both camps ng Duterte at Marcos. Kaya medyo lamang sila ng konti. Pero yan ay nakasalalay kung gaano kaganda yung kanilang narrative, yung kanilang peg at yung kanilang strategy. Kaya 3 ipsuli yun. Sana, kahit 2 lang sa 8 na yun magawa nila, baka may chance.
Ronald, ano pa kayong pwedeng narrative dyan? Kasi malakas na yung if you're going to be anti-administration, sila Duterte na yun ngayon eh. Sila yung pinakamaingay dyan eh. Sila yung talagang polar opposite. Pero anong makukuha anong magagawa pwede pa ba yung corruption? Is it an issue? Ano pa yung pwede nilang anuhin?
Una, Ami, yung disenchantment nila, hindi lang sa Marcos. Ang disenchantment nila, pati sa Duterte. So, ibig sabihin, hindi automatic na makukuha sila ng Duterte. No? May chance sana yung third poll na makuha sila. Sinasabi ko, may chance sila. Pero
hindi, kaya nga, ano nga yung peg mo?
Well,
ano yung peg mo?
Pwedeng isang peg nila ay anti-dynasty. No? Na yung 2 dynasty ay dinodominate yung ating political landscape. At kinakailangan ng something new, no? Ikalawa ay yung mga problema sa governance. Dahil hindi lang naman yung Marcos na may problema sa governance dahil kakatapos lang ng Duterte, no? So, pwedeng sariwa pa sa isip ng mga tao yung naging problema sa predecessor as well as sa incumbent, no? So, pwede nilang i-belabor 'yon. No? Pero ang expert kasi diyan yung mga ibang katulad nila Alan Herman, yung mga PR talaga eh. Tayo naman nagpapanggap lang na may alam na content.
Pero kasi if you look at it then, those who are disenchanted now with either the DDS or the BBMs were there to begin with because they were before disenchanted naman with the Dilaws in 2016. Kaya naglipatan dun sa...
Pero Ed, ang memory ng tao hindi gano'n kahaba eh. Yung memory nila mas malapit eh. Sino ba yung mas malapit? The Duterte government and the incumbent. No? Kaya sinasabi ko, may kaunti silang lamang kung meron silang magandang political narrative at may maganda silang strategy.
Okay.
Yun ang sinasabi ko Kaya sinasabi ko,
Ronald, ganito na lang. Looking at the recent moves of the traditional, classic, or independent opposition, do you think they're on the right track? Are they sending a message that will attract all these undecideds to them?
Again, Patrick, if they can harness the pink wave na nangyari 2 years ago, 2 years lang hindi pa yung ganun kalayo. If they can harness that, very, very significant yun. Halimbawa, kung magkakaroon ng nationwide Thanksgiving and listening tour, yung 3 Maria, na hindi kandidato hindi kandidato, Laila, Lenny, and Risa, tingin ko may epekto yon. No? Dahil meron silang mantra na pwedeng gamitin to harness the pink wave 2 years ago na nangyari.
Okay.
At ikalawa, medyo meron silang disavowal of power dahil hindi sila kandidato. Kumbaga yung kanilang political position, pwede nilang ibigay o ipahiram doon sa mga kandidato nila dahil hindi sila kandidato eh. May ganung classic attraction yun.
Ronald, ganito, no? You always mention the pink wave. No? Ilang million ba yun? Malaki-laki rin, no? Yung pink wave na yun. I think 15, 16 million. And yet, Ronald, in several surveys for the senatorial elections that we've seen, we don't see any of the independent opposition figuring in the top 12.
Exactly, Patrick. Exactly, dahil they failed to harness that. Dapat ginawa nila yan immediately after the election. Ang sinasabi ko lang, possibly na nandyan yung dormant pink wave na yan. And it can be activated kung meron silang gagawin. Dahil medyo natahimik sila for the past 2 years. Diba? Hindi sila bumanat, hindi sila nag-scale up. Ngayon pa lang sila nagsisimula. Yun yung problema, pero yun din ang possibility.
Okay, possibility.
Pero Ronald, napansin ko sa social media, buhay na buhay yung pink wave. Meron pa rin kakaunti na makaleni na pinupush siyang tumakbong senador.
Mukhang tapos na yun, Mogs.
Oo nga, pero meron pa rin kaunti sa social media.
Yes, kaya pwede niyang ipasa. Pwede niyang ipasa yung pro-Leni doon sa kanilang mga kandidato. Pero sana kasama niya si Senator Risa at saka si Laila dahil meron din silang value added. Tatlong Maria with balls.
Hindi ba naghahanap ng bagong figures? Hindi ba naghahanap ng bagong figures? Kasi mukhang yung 8 diretso yung nagpo-form na naman na yan.
Pero kanyan, albawa yung tatlo dyan, nanalo naman Diba? Si Risa nanalo, si Leni naging vice president, si Laila naging senador, at ngayon meron siyang bagong value added dahil doon sa kanyang pagkaka-absuelto sa kaso. So, ang sinasabi ko lang, Ami, ay pwede nang i-harness yan. Pwedeng i-develop into a political narrative. Lalo na mahina yung kanilang mga kandidato for now. No? For now. Ilang sinasabi ko. The possibility what they can
meron
do.
pa bang oras, Ronald? Kasi wala nang isang taon at eleksyon na.
Malapit na yung filing ng certificate of candidacy at walang nakikitang movement actually mga tao. Kaya tanungan actually mga tao ngayon. What's happening to the traditional opposition?
I mean, in 2015, at this time, 2015, 3% lang si Digong. At this time,
Yan na nga.
11 months before. Ibig sabihin, things can happen.
Yeah, but Ronald, presidential elections are not the dynamics of a presidential election. It's not the same as the dynamics of a senatorial election. Remember in kailan ba yung 8 Diretso na campaign?
2019.
One of the criticism in the 8 Diretso campaign was they run against Duterte, who was not a candidate. Diba?
Yes.
Rather than running against an opposing candidate. So may nagkaroon ng tactical error ata there, if I may.
Pero Patrick, si Digong was 91% then. No? 91% si Digong, hindi 91% si BBM or Sara at this point. So iba yung kalaban nila noon. Ikalawa, definitely iba yung kay Digong. Sinasabi ko lang, things can happen in 11 months. No? Hindi ko sinasabi na mangyayari. No? Kaya nga sinasabi ko ay depende kung ano yung strategy ng Pink. Then again, pwede sila mag-end up as 8 Diretso. Pangalan pa lang, ang pangit na 8 Diretso.
Oo nga.
Sino pa boboto sa 8 Diretso? Diba? Pangalan pa lang pangit na, tapos very popular yung kalaban nila presidente. Si Digong, 91 to 93%. At that time.
Wasn't the mistake in that election, Ronald, wasn't the mistake that they were attacking a president who was not running rather than attacking a member of the opposing senatorial slate na pwede nila hatakin pababa? Para makaangat sila.
Maraming mistake nun. No? Maraming mistake nun. At sa akin, yung main mistake is the narrative. The political narrative. Parang, very compelling ba yung 8 Diretso? Di ba? Very compelling ba yan for you to vote? Hindi.
Okay.
May oras pa tayo.
Happy weekend, ano?
Hindi, gusto ko tanongin kay Ronald kung ikaw nag-handle ng campaign na yun is, ano ang itatawag mo sa ticket na yan? O ito, ticket na ito ngayon.
So, yung traditional, yung traditional team.
Yan.
It has to be really, really compelling. Yan ang sinasabi mo
Well, yun nga yung unang sabi ko. Tatlong hindi tatakbo, tatlong Maria with balls ang magli-lead ng campaign. Nationwide, earlier, no? Ngayon pa lang, nationwide listening and Thanksgiving tour. Ikalawa, ay i-maximize nila yung disenchanted na undecided. na meron na silang lamang dahil disenchanted siya doon sa dalawang kampo. Lamang na sila. At ikatlo, gumawa ng magandang strategy at saka peg. Una, to harness the pink wave na hindi insignificant. At ikalawa, ay makagawa ng maayos na political narrative para mahatak yung disenchanted at saka undecided. Nakita natin yan doon sa Okta survey, di ba? 50% ang either 35% ayaw sa dalawa, Marcos at saka Duterte, 5% ang preferred sila, at 15% yung undecided. That's 50% na posible with the right political narrative and strategy. Yun lang naman ang sinasabi ko.
Paano yung tatlong Maria na walang
With balls.
tatlong walang itlog.
Maganda, tatlong walang itlog.
I'm just translating what Ronald said.
Tatlong Maria with balls. Parang si Ami with balls.
With balls. Sorry.
Tatlong Maria may itlog.
Tatlong Maria with balls. No? Yung sabi ko.
Bola, hindi itlog. Hindi eggs. Bola.
Oo nga naman. Tatlong Mariang may bola.
May bola.
May bola.
Magulo na nga tayo. Matotrouble mo tayo dito.
Baka magalit sa akin yung tatlong Maria.
Kasi ikaling yan.
Pero Ronald, meron
Lagot
ba?
ka na naman.
Are there efforts for them to get together? Are there ongoing efforts? Wala yata kami naririnig.
Yes, ang tawag nila Big Tent Effort. Meron. At inamin ni Laila de Lima. Inamin niya na gusto niya yung nationwide Thanksgiving and listening tour na sana ginawa after the elections ng 2022. Pero ngayon, sa isang interview, inamin ni Laila na gusto niya yon. At inamin niya na merong Big Tent talk. Inamin din ni Senator Risa Hontiveros na merong ganong klaseng talks na magsama-sama. Ang hindi pa kasama dyan, yung Makabayan Block. Yung Makabayan Block gusto mag-field ng 12 kompletong slate. No?
Yes.
Kaya yun yung hindi nila kasama sa usapan.
Pero pwedeng isama.
I'm not too sure.
Alam na.
Tanong nyo kay Patrick. Tanong nyo kay Patrick.
Na yan, kita mo, split na yan. Ayan, that's the opposition. Split na sila. Paano nga yan?
May ideological differences.
Pero amin hindi naman split dahil hindi naman sila nagsama before.
Oh.
May ideological difference sila.
Yeah.
Alam ni Patrick yung ideological differences.
Baka ano pa masabi natin dito. Maraming salamat. Thank you for joining the StoryCon today. Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. And Ronald Llamas, next week po, kasama na natin dito sa studio. And Manny Mogato, thank you.
Thank you.
One News Defense
Happy
Editor.
weekend.
At si Joby
Happy
Cruz.
weekend.
Happy rainy weekend.
Oo
Okay.
nga.
Thank you.
Join us again on Monday at 4 p.m. for the StoryCon. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Patrick Paez. Manny.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
May ganun po.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.